has been authorized, vetted, evaluated, and approved for your consumption by Wild LLC. You're welcome.
So let me pose a question to both you and Weber, Ralph. If they were to make a He-Man live-action movie, who would you pick to lead as He-Man?
Who would I pick?
Arnold.
That's not a bad pick. That's not
Get
a bad
Arnold
pick.
out of retirement.
That's not a bad pick.
I don't know. That's oh boy, that's a tough one. I mean, you need somebody. You need somebody that's.
You need this one that has the really good blonde hair. I don't think Arnold could pull that off.
Well, there's.
I don't know if the wig would pull it off. I mean, obviously him as Conan was different, but like.
See, I honestly think because have you seen the commercial where they and I forget what it's for, but they de-aged Dolph Lundgren?
Yeah.
I feel like he needs another shot at this.
Right.
Like I feel like he got the bone job in the first movie because it was just. I mean, it just terrible in ways that I can't describe. Like it just the only cool thing about the original Masters of the Universe movie was Skeletor at the end when he super powers up and he's like the golden version of Skeletor.
Right.
Like that Skeletor was really good. Beyond that, could probably throw out most of. Although that is technically, I guess, considered canon because in the next season of the Netflix show in the trailer, they actually show Gweldor from the movie, the little guy with the key.
Yeah.
So he's in that trailer. So I guess that's considered canon. But I don't know who could play He-Man. Again, it would have to be like a Chris Evans situation from Captain America, where when they did like the very puny version of Chris Evans before he gets the super soldier serum, because you got to have somebody that can play Adam and He-Man. So it'd have to be a situation like that. But yeah, even like that'd be great, like a Chris Evans or I don't know. Chris Hemsworth. I don't know. There's so many different, like it's such a hard role to cast.
Yeah.
I know that they
role to cast.
I'm pretty sure they cast somebody that I've never even really heard of. So I don't know.
Oh, are they actually making a He-Man movie?
It's back on. Yeah. They were gonna do one before. I think it was gonna be on Netflix before they did all this other stuff, because they have two He-Man cartoons on there right now. One that's the Kevin Smith one, and then they have the other one which is more geared towards like children today instead of gearing it towards like the people that watch the 80s series. But that one's really off the rails too. I had a hard time watching that one because it gets weird. It's got like you can tell it's definitely made to sell toy lines because it's got like everybody getting like weird power-ups and I don't know. I had a hard time watching
like
it.
You said toilets, not toilets.
Toilets.
Yes.
Yes, toilets. Yes.
We're selling toilets.
I was like, wait. I know he said toys, but I'm so totally distracted by thinking.
No, he definitely said toys.
Yes. So you want to get the new line of the Masters of the Universe toilets. I will say that if you're buying them, the two that are probably the best selling toilets right now are the Beast Man toilet and the Moss Man toilet.
Yep.
Those are the two best selling lines.
Makes a lot of sense.
The Stinkor toilet is limited edition, so get it now while you can.
Stinkor, that's great. I love that.
This is gonna make a great clip. All right, so let's talk about Bobby Buffet. Let's get a little into the.
Let's get down to it.
Character here. We've got
tacks.
Feast Mode. We've got top of the food chain.
Oh yeah.
We've got Eat, Defeat, Repeat.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Hungry.
Oh yeah.
We've got the All Hungry Bobby Buffet. So what has inspired you
the best
to create this character, the All Hungry Bobby Buffet? Let's just get right into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's inspired by me 100%. First of all, as you can tell, I'm a bigger guy. Like I like to eat. I'm with you. This is very true. You know what I'm saying?
Same. Yeah. Food is life.
There are not many more than me being in the kitchen or what I'm saying, me trying some real good food.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely an emotion enhancer.
Can of cocoa butter. And I put it on, but I put it on like when I put it on, I'm like, I don't.
Right.
So I try to hype myself up, and I'm like, "Come on, baby! Like, we gotta hit this. Every single move gotta be clean." And every time I'm about to hit the entrance or whatever, Van Halen starts playing in my head for some odd reason.
Hello, what's going on? And welcome to another episode of Chillin with the OC for Monday night, September 2nd, 2024. To those of you who are in the United States of America, happy Labor Day. Hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. As you can see, I am by myself. It is right now, it is the King Ralph show. It is the Royal Court. Everything is okay with Sean. In fact, we want to wish Parmesan a happy birthday. Sean is chilling, doing some birthday stuff today. So for right now, you've got me a little programming note going forward. Later in tonight's episode, at some point, I will be joined by the newest member of the Opinion City team. That's right. Kenny P himself will be joining me a little later on to enjoy some Raw. And we may have, cross your fingers, you never know, we may have another special guest joining us. So before we get into Monday Night Raw, of course, make sure you are hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, hitting that share button. Tell everybody you know about us, and let us know you're enjoying the show. Let us know that you enjoy what we do. Of course, you know, give that your full attention there, because we appreciate it. We do. We love doing this. We love hanging out. We love chilling. We love having a good time watching Raw with you. And the likes and the shares and the subscribes are extremely important. They really help us continue to do what it is that we do, which we hope you're enjoying. So before we get into Monday Night Raw here, we are hot off the heels of Bash in Berlin, which was emanating from Berlin, Germany this past Saturday. We're going to run down the card quick. We'll be talking about the matches a little more in depth as we get on with the show. But starting off, we had Cody Rhodes defending his title against Kevin Owens. Cody Rhodes picking up the win in that one to start off the show. Pretty hot. Next, we had Isla Dawn and Alba Fire defending their women's tag team titles against Bianca Belair and Jade Storm. And yes, we have new women's tag team champions, Bianca Belair, Jade Storm getting their titles back, pulling out the big win there in Berlin. Then we move on to one of the more interesting matches on the show, the strap match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Some brutal stuff there. I don't envy either one of them getting hit with that strap, but CM Punk getting a measure of revenge on Drew McIntyre, getting the win in this one, getting the bracelet back, which has been his goal the entire time. And of course now, after the show was over, well, during the show, we get to see a little bit of CM Punk, who says, "I am done with Drew McIntyre. I'm now ready to go after the world title." So who knows what we'll see on Monday night tonight from both of these competitors. Is CM Punk really done with Drew, and is Drew done with CM Punk? So we don't know yet, but we'll find it. Hopefully we'll find out some more information on that tonight. Then we had the big match between the Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, against our good friends Dateline Dom and Homewrecker Liv, and Damian and Rhea getting a measure of revenge on them, getting the win. Great match. The Judgment Day appeared and interfered and were promptly taken care of. So again, we'll be discussing that a little further down the line tonight. But the big main event, the one we'd all been waiting for, Gunther back at home in his hometown crowd, defending his title against Randy Orton. A great match. Gunther chokes out Randy Orton. Randy Orton passes out, and Gunther gets the win and retains his title. At home in Germany with Ludwig Kaiser giving him the introduction, and it was just a lot of fun. So a great night at Bash in Berlin, and of course, as we go through the night, we'll be talking a little bit more in depth about each of those matches, just telling you what we thought of the show. But now we move on to Monday Night Raw, and we are ready to talk about a few of the things that they announced and a big change. So first off, we've got Maxine Dupree, Otis, and Akira Tozawa, Alpha Academy, taking on the Creed Brothers and Ivy Nile of American Made. Hopefully getting they hope to be getting a little bit of revenge on American Made. Will we be seeing any antics from the Wyatt Six during this? Will we see Nikki Cross come down to the ring and make her presence known? Only time will tell. We've got another grudge match here. Shayna Baszler from the Pure Fusion Collective. I guess that's the silly name they came up with. She'll be going one-on-one with Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega, of course, returning last week, looking to get a measure of revenge against Shayna Baszler. Interestingly enough, tonight we are being treated with a tag team title win celebration from Bianca Belair and Jade Storm. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Will shenanigans ensue? Well, it is a championship celebration, so you can pretty much bet shenanigans will ensue. We've got a number one contender match for the women's tag team titles. We've got Kairi Sane and Io Sky of Damage Control taking on the former champions, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, for that number one contendership to see who gets a shot at Bianca and Jade. Will we see Damage Control assert their dominance here, or will the previous champions get another shot at the title? And speaking of titles, the Intercontinental title tournament rolls on after last week's impressive matches. This week, we are treated to Ilya Dragunov, Dragon Lee, and Dateline Dom. And I'm super excited for this. Winner gets into the Fatal 4 number one contenders match, which I believe we're seeing next week. Now, here's where things get a little hairy, because I don't know what's exactly happening here. Originally, we were supposed to see Sheamus, Ludwig Kaiser, and Bronson Reed in the other qualifying match. However, announced today, Bronson Reed tested positive for COVID. So Bronson Reed will not be cleared medically to compete tonight. This match has been scrapped from WWE.com, so I don't know if we're going to see this match or a variation of this match. Will we see someone taking Bronson Reed's place? Who knows? Anything could happen, but hopefully we will get this match in some form or another tonight. Hopefully they haven't just scrapped it all together, but we want to wish speedy recovery to Bronson Reed so you can get back to smashing guys through car hoods and roofs and just destroying people in general. So that's what we've got on tap for Monday Night Raw tonight. Want to say hello to everybody that's watching. We got AJ Applegate saying hi. C. Henry's in the house with some happy Labor Day. So good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. Should be a great show. Looking forward to it. So we've got a few minutes here until Raw starts. So while we're waiting for Raw to start, check out this interesting piece of information, something that I think you'll enjoy. We have a Discord. And I got to say, Parmesan and Adam the Guy have been working really hard to make this a great place to hang out. I don't always get on there as much as I'd like to. I'm trying to work on that because it's a really fun place. But come hang out in Discord, come chat with wrestling fans and Opinion City members and just have a great time. So make sure you check out our Discord. Very excited about all of that. And of course, we've got merch. That's right. You see right there, the Opinion City Wild LLC Let Us In logo, but we've got tons of stuff. We have got Raw merchandise, SmackDown merchandise. We have got just Opinion City variations on so many things. Plus we have fanny packs. Do not sleep on the fanny packs. As you can see here, there's some of our Raw merch looking good. Parmesan's doing a great job with those. So head on over to our Teespring, our TeePublic sites. I believe we have a piece of merchandise up on Pro Wrestling Tees as well. Speaking of Pro Wrestling Tees, make sure you head over there and check out this beautiful Wild LLC shirt designed by Brian Ace himself of Wild LLC. You can check that out. You can pick up that shirt on prowrestlingtees.com/Brian Ace. So be sure to check that out. And with that, the credits are rolling, so we should be getting started with Raw very shortly. C. Henry wants to know, am I Joey Styles tonight? So I might be for a little while. Sean is off celebrating his birthday. Kenny P should be joining me at some point here. We're excited to have him on the show. And there may be a special guest joining in tonight. So it is going to be the King Ralph show for a little while, though. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna watch Raw together and just have a great time. All right, so ready to go here. Showing Denver, Colorado, the beautiful city where we're having Monday Night Raw tonight. Yeah, Wade Barrett in the ring to start the show off. So I want to take care of this quick. Did Parma get approval to have tonight off? Well, it's interesting that you ask that because Parma submitted this day off in Workday, and he was told by Steve from HR that it was approved. So he's taking the night off. All right. And we got our brand new Raw announce team of Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore. It's going to be that way for a little bit until we get to the Netflix move and the USA move. So hopefully this will be good. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of Wade Barrett as a commentator. He's like halfway to Booker T, and I really don't like Booker T on commentary. They're just kind of like very grating. I'm not a big fan. I kind of like the way they started those two in the ring. No, sir, I do not want Parma to get written up for a no call, no show either. I think he's all right. We've had some issues with Steve from HR in the past, not getting us into Workday and things like that. But I think everything's okay now. Steve from HR seems to have stepped his game up, and things are okay with everybody. We're getting an amazing recap here of Bash in Berlin. I guess the question now is, where do we go with Kevin Owens from here? I have my thoughts, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with him now. I hate to be like this, but in my opinion, I think that putting the titles back on Bianca and Jade, it was a huge mistake. I don't think it does anything for the tag titles. I think I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they go with that too, because I feel like everything that they're doing is just leading up to Bianca and Jade feuding with each other. Honestly, what do I rate Bash in Berlin? Bash in Berlin was one of those good shows. There wasn't anything super spectacular, but there wasn't anything really bad either. I thought all the matches were great. I'm probably going to give it a 4. Again, I didn't really see anything over the top that was like, just made me want to watch it again. But I will say, going into it, I was super excited for both of the world title matches, and I think they both delivered. I think Gunther and Randy Orton was great. Just a hard-hitting, sort of brutal match. and then Cody and Kevin just killed it to start the show. Very hot start. So I would give it a 4 out of 5. And for me, the Ludwig Kaiser moment where he introduced Gunther was just amazing. I kind of like the voice of this new guy. It'll be interesting to see how he is during a match, but so far so good. Listen, I agree as well. I absolutely think, though, that Bianca needs to be a heel. I think Bianca needs to turn on Jade. And to be honest, I think they need to turn the Street Profits heel too and put Bianca with the Street Profits. I think that would be a great pairing. This looks like we're getting a little mommy time here. Rhea Ripley coming out to looks like she's coming out to address the crowd. Man, not for nothing, but how hot was Berlin for Rhea Ripley? Like they were so excited to see her. They were just all about her, and it doesn't sound like Denver's any different. Of course, now we're at the point where Rhea's gotten her measure of revenge, but now it's time to get her title back. So what exactly do you mean by she seems to be leaning out a bit? Give me a little more. Ha ha ha. Monday Night Mommy. I love it. That's great. Oh, okay. So Rhea's still muscular, but from the wrist down, she has lean out, not as bulky. Interesting. Very interesting take. Yeah, I think she's really kind of getting her look here. Rhea calling her shot. Wow. Dateline Dom with the shiner. Ooh, wow, that's looking bad, that eye. Dateline Dom has what I would describe as white hot nuclear heat. Like they just love to boo him. If they could find a way to somehow turn him face and turn that around at some point, like it's going to be unbelievable. Did he just say Kyantai? Man, I don't think that spot was planned with her getting her foot hooked up in the ropes, but man, was that lucky for them, because that gave for a great moment there with Liv and Dom, with Rhea hanging there. Quite a way to start off Raw, bringing out arguably one of your most beloved characters in Rhea Ripley, and then the white hot nuclear heat for Dateline Dom. So starting with those two, great way to start off Raw. Great match for Chad Gable and Uncle Howdy last week. Chad Gable has had it. He's done with it. I love that the Creed brothers finally got good-looking wrestling boots. Looks like we're starting off with a little Alpha Academy American-made 6-person tag action. I love the whole presentation package of American Made, like the new graphics they have, the multiple versions of singlets that Kurt Angle wore, very Kurt Angle reminiscent. And I love that Ivy Nile now has the American Made gear as well. Like it makes them look like such a cohesive unit. This should be a good match, but I think this is going to serve as a vehicle to bring the Wyatt Six out again. Wow, sorry about that. I was looking at WWE Week on USA next week. Looks like we're starting off with Raw, SmackDown, and NXT all on USA for the time being, and they're advertising limited commercial interruption. So that should be pretty good. All right, let's get into some Bash in Berlin talk while we're waiting for this commercial break to be over. Obviously, we started off the show with Kevin Owens challenging for Cody Rhodes' world title. This was a great match, a great back and forth. It had various spots in it where we weren't sure what was going to happen. Cody had the injured knee, and then Kevin Owens didn't want to take advantage of that, and then Kevin Owens did take advantage of that. And there were some real moments where I thought Kevin Owens might actually get the win, but in the end, Cody Rhodes was able to outlast him. Again, and I brought this up a little earlier. It'll be interesting to see where exactly they go with Kevin Owens at this point. It's I'm not really sure what what they're going to do with him. There's I don't know. It's it seemed to me like we haven't really seen a whole lot from Kevin recently. We've seen him in RKO with Randy Orton, but we haven't really seen anything from KO singles wise in quite some time. And even KO said on the mic that he's not had the best streak as of late. He's been losing a lot of matches, and to me, this kind of felt like, because they ran the whole angle where Cody Rhodes was trying to give him the title shot, and he didn't want to accept it because he didn't think he earned it, and Cody thought he deserved it. It just felt to me like this was going to be a moment where, like, this was Kevin's last big shot. And I don't know that that's necessarily the case, but it felt to me like they were kind of building towards a match where this was like KO's one last big shot at winning the title. And again, after the match was over, we get the hand raise, we get the hug with Kevin and Cody. But I don't know where you go from here, to be honest with Kevin. There's been some discussion that within the next 6-7 months, we might not be seeing Kevin in WWE. I'm not speculating on any contract information. I don't know anything for sure, but could Kevin Owens' stock be higher somewhere else? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see just what happens to him now. I think I'm hoping he comes out and addresses things on Friday. I'm hoping that we get a little more news on what's going on next for him. Maybe we'll see another feud with someone build on Friday. Now we've got Rhea backstage. Right. American Made. I'm telling you, I love this American Made presentation. I think it's great. This will be a really interesting test for Maxine Dupree to see, where exactly she's at, wrestling wise, because she's not going to be in there with no slouch and Ivy Nile. Ivy Nile will show her where it's at 6 ways to Sunday. So it'll be interesting to see just how much Maxine has progressed and, where she's at ring wise. And we are starting with a Pure 6 brawl. All right, so Jordan Kirby chiming in. I hope we get Liv versus Rhea at Bad Blood with Rhea winning the title. She technically never lost. I would think that that's a very good possibility, because I think Bad Blood is going to be a super stacked show. I think they're really going to load that show up, because they've been making a big deal about Bad Blood and bringing it back and all these things. So I think we're probably going to get some form of Liv and Rhea there. I don't know if we'll see Rhea get her title back or not. It depends on what direction they decide to take that feud, whether they're going to maybe prolong it a bit, or maybe they'll make the switch here and we'll see Rhea kind of move on from Liv Morgan. Who knows? But that's a great thought. And again, thanks for joining us. Thanks for throwing that out there. And thanks to everyone who's joining us tonight. It's great to see everybody. Great to hang out and enjoy Raw. So every week, Parmesan and Adam, the guy over on Chillin with the Bros, throw out the challenge that they also throw out here on Raw now with Chillin with the OC. When you show up, bring a friend. tell somebody about the show, tell them about how great it is, and bring a friend with you. Introduce them to Chillin' with the OC. I'd like to take it in a different direction, though. So I'm going to put out a challenge. I would like to see us get 3 new subscriptions tonight on our YouTube channel. If we can get 3 new subscriptions tonight, we will have met the goal that I just set for us. So let's get some new subscribers tonight. Let's get some new people in the Opinion City family. It's interesting because the last couple weeks they've been having people come on and call into Busted Open who were at the Monday night shows, and we consistently hear on there that Otis is one of the most over superstars and gets the best reactions from the crowd every week. A nice looking drop kick from Maxine. Short and sweet, but good looking drop kick. Akira Tozawa is more talented than they allow him to be, but I love what they're doing with him because it's just so much fun. Uh-oh, Maxine Dupree going up to the high rent district. Big splash from Maxine. This is what I love about certain teams on Raw, and Alpha Academy being one of the leading teams. They go out there and they have fun, and I think that's what is really needed most on Monday Night Raw, is going out there and just having a good time. All right, so we take a short commercial break. Let's get back to a little Bash in Berlin talk. We had the women's tag team titles on the line as Alba Fire and Isla Dawn defended against Bianca Belair and Jade Storm. We know Bianca Belair and Jade Storm pick up the win. This for me was the one. Now, I don't have anything to say bad about the match. I don't have anything to say bad about any of the matches on the card. I think this was a mistake putting the titles back on them. I don't know where they're going with this. I'm assuming that this is all part of a grander plan to bring Bianca and Jade into a position where one of them has to turn on the other because they just can't take the loss anymore. I'm thinking that eventually they'll drop the titles, and it will be someone will feel that the other person on the team is not holding up their end of the team, and that's where we'll see the feud begin. But I'm not sure I like the bouncing around of the titles. So we had Jade and Bianca with the titles previously. They didn't get pinned. They weren't even a part of the decision when Alba Fire and Isla Dawn won the titles. I don't like the bouncing around of the titles. I think, for a title to mean something, I think it needs some stability, and I think it needs, we have to have some type of run. And I don't think that Alba Fire and Isla Dawn have gotten that run, and unless they're going to maybe pick up a surprise win again and win the titles back, I don't know. But I feel like, and this is a problem I think that we see in wrestling from time to time. I'm not necessarily saying it's a problem in WWE right now, but I will say that I feel like the women's tag division is not where it should be because we don't have that stability with the belts. And I feel like we need a really good tag team run where they just kind of, somebody gets the title and they kind of just go on this massive tear where they're getting all these amazing challengers coming after the titles, and every week, every show, they just continue to win and win and win, overcome those odds. And I think that's what makes a title. So I'm looking to see something like that. Because I feel like, again, giving the titles back to Bianca and Jade, I feel like is not really giving them back the titles to help the tag team division or build the tag team division. I feel like it's something that they're doing to help further the feud down the line of Bianca and Jade. And I don't really think that's fair to the women's tag titles. All right, so we are back with some Monday Night Raw action. We've currently got Alpha Academy taking on American Made. American Made showing some great teamwork, some great cohesion between the three of them. Otis is really incredible with some of the things that he does, some of the things he can do. Just the agility of a big man like that kind of makes him stand out quite a bit in, from other big men. Not that other big men in WWE aren't great right now, but Otis definitely stands out with some of the things he does. This has been a really good match so far. Great match to start off the show. Tozawa was running wild there for a moment, but boy, did he get caught. Uh-oh. Maxine's taking things into her own hands. This crowd is absolutely hot for Maxine right now. They are going crazy. So, see, Henry, I did mention something about that at the very beginning when they were in the ring together. I was like, yeah, this guy's got a great voice. I'm like, it'll be interesting to see, how it works, how he is during a match. But I think he's doing a great job so far. Maxine with the reverse caterpillar, which was pretty impressive, I gotta say. Dragon Sleeper gets the win for American Made. But I will say this, Maxine Dupree looks pretty impressive. I mean, she didn't have a ton of ring time, but you can definitely tell that she is improving. I really didn't like the whole angle where they were like cutting her down, and I didn't like it because I think she's been doing great, and I think she was very good tonight. This was a great match all around. Of course, Chad Gable on the mic now is just begging for the Wyatt Six to come out. I'm hoping this is where we see Nikki Cross get more physical, because I feel like last week when they did the attack during the match with American Made and the Wyatt Six, I really felt like Nikki Cross should have come out to be a part of that and take out Ivy Nile, and we did not see that, so maybe we'll see that tonight. Wow. Chad Gable calling the shot for American Made. Don't think that's very smart. And here we go. Ooh, Uncle Howdy has a microphone. First time we get to hear him, I think. Got a promo here on screen. So it looks like we will see Nikki Cross wrestle next week because it's going to be 4-on-4. So it's almost a lock. We're going to see Nikki Six in the ring next week for the street fight. I agree, C. Henry. Usually when they do hire an outside sports announcer, it can be hit or miss because we never seem to know, what their knowledge of the product is. Their passion for it might not be there. %100% agree. This guy is doing a great job so far. Question mark. So it looks like we're getting a mystery opponent for Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. I sincerely hope it's not going to be Braun Strowman coming out with like all kinds of, bandages, and I don't want to see that. I'm not a big Braun Strowman fan to begin with, so I'm not really interested in seeing him in that match, but who knows? All right. Got another commercial break here, so let's get back to our Bash in Berlin chat, the strap match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, and this was a fun strap match, but I thought the concept of it was a little convoluted. I didn't quite enjoy the lights at each ring post and how when they tapped, the light would go on. Because honestly, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think that's needed. I don't think it's that hard to remember, like, oh, Drew McIntyre's hit 2 of them and then he's been stopped. Like, I didn't think it was needed. But this was a fun match. This was a brawl. You could really feel the hatred between these two. And I think that's really what's been making this feud special, is that you really feel like these are 2 guys that just really literally cannot stand each other. And, you know, it was all over a 50-cent bracelet, but the meaning behind that 50-cent bracelet was not lost on CM Punk or Drew McIntyre. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from this. Of course, CM Punk getting the win, CM Punk getting his bracelet back. Again, just a brutal strap match. Very, very well done. I thought the match was very enjoyable. But again, where do we go from here? Are we going to see Drew McIntyre tonight? Are we going to see CM Punk tonight? Like, we don't know where this feud is headed. Will Drew McIntyre be as done with CM Punk as CM Punk says he is with Drew? That right now is the big question. So I'm going to throw this out there, and I have no fancy graphics, or I have nothing yet, but we'll have some more information soon. But I have been given the opportunity to write a column for a wrestling zine. For those of you who don't remember zines, they call them zines because they're like a miniature version of a magazine, and they're usually, you know, self-published and sent through the mail, and you know, it's a whole thing. But I have been given the opportunity to write for the Dropkick Daily zine. You can find them Instagram. They are Dropkick Daily. Looking to see if they are on the Twitter machine, but they are definitely on Instagram. Not sure. I'm not seeing them here on Instagram, but check them out. I'm sorry, Twitter. Check them out on Instagram. You can message them for to get issues of the zine. Issue 18 comes out with wrestler Big Vito on the cover with a Q&A inside with him, and then issue 19 has a Q&A with Mike Quackenbush of Chikara fame. So I'll be writing a column for them, and world exclusive right here. I'm going to tell you I'll tell you all about my first column. I am writing a column entitled CM Punk, Cultural Phenomenon or Crazy Cult Leader. This has a lot to do with CM Punk's fan base, a lot to do with tribalism in wrestling. So it'll be an interesting read. Should be in issue 20. So I will have all the information and details on that. Of course, while I'm talking about that, we're getting another beautiful view of Denver, Colorado. Yes, and do not forget SmackDown on USA next week. So Zelina Vega's back. She's got Zelina Vega graphics and Zelina Vega music, and it looks to me that it appears that she's no longer a part of the LWO. I don't know for sure, but that's what I'm seeing here, that she's could no longer be a member of the LWO. A little speculation there. It's going to be a tough match for Zelina. I mean, I like Zelina Vega as much as the next person, but, you know, Shayna Baszler dials it down to like 10%, I think, for Monday Night Raw. I don't think if she went out there and gave probably even 50%, she would just kill somebody. Of course, Shayna Baszler not coming alone. She's got Pure Fusion Collective members Zoe Stark and Sonya Deville with her. So looks like the deck is stacked against Zelina Vega. I don't know how she's going to be able to handle the three of them unless she's got some backup. But as of right now, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of backup available for her. I really do like this group, the Pure Fusion Collective, but their name is just ridiculous. In your opinion, why is there so many biases between wrestling fans on which promotion that they like? So the idea of tribalism in wrestling and in wrestling promotions, I feel like is not something that was necessarily started by today's fans, even though we see it with things like AEW and WWE. I feel like it's been inherited from fans who were around during the Attitude Era, because it was very tribalistic in the Attitude Era. You know, you either supported WWE or you supported WCW. You did not support both of them. And that's just, unfortunately, that's just how it went. That was the way things were. And I feel like we're at a point now where, again, you know, that inherited nature, because I feel like there's still a lot of fans from the Attitude Era that are out there watching wrestling that still believe like you've got to pick one, you've got to stick with them. So I think that's the start of it. But I think that there is a different mentality with fans. So this is something that I'm going to explore in this article as well. My column for Dropkick Daily. All right, so another commercial break, and I will say this much for WWE. You know, practically every time AEW goes to commercial, they have they have picture in picture, and I hate that. I really do. I don't like the picture in picture at all. I think it's a waste of time, to be honest. You don't. They either do it really well or they do it really bad, because there's moments where they have big huge moves or big huge moments in the match that should be on the full screen, not in a tiny little picture in picture. So I definitely think that, you know, the fact that WWE doesn't do picture in picture, for me, I think is a big plus. Yeah, so C. Henry says Zelina was used great in TNA back in the day, and I believe that Sonya and Zelina are underutilized in WWE. They're I think sometimes they kind of fall victim to the process in WWE, where I think a lot of times women's wrestling and a lot of women's wrestlers in general are underutilized. I don't think it is something that is just specifically reserved for, you know, Zelina Vega or Sonya Deville. Now, Sonya Deville was out for quite some time, where she was taking care of personal issues. Now that she's back, I mean, we've seen her in the ring, but I feel like she's kind of relegated herself more to the manager role, you know, kind of leading the group through that. Zelina Vega, I don't think they've ever really known exactly what to do with her. I don't know what it is about her that they don't they don't like. They missed a huge opportunity when they didn't pull the trigger on her to win the world title at Backlash in Puerto Rico. Was it Backlash? Yeah. But I feel like they missed a huge opportunity there. It would have been a great moment, being in Puerto Rico and having her friends and family there. And it just, even if they had her drop the title the next week, it would have been a great moment that they just didn't pull the trigger on. So I do agree that these are people that are maybe underutilized. But again, I feel like you could say that about a lot of women in WWE right now. But all right, so getting back to our Bash in Berlin conversation, Dateline Dom and Homewrecker Liv lost to Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, the Terror Twins. Got their measure of revenge. This was a fun match from start to finish. You had interference by the Judgment Day, which Damian Priest handled like a champ. Just took down the Judgment Day systematically one by one. And Rhea and Damian get a measure of revenge. And with that, we're back to the action in the ring. Zelina Vega and Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler looks to be having her way with Zelina Vega at the moment. I think that Zelina Vega is very talented. This has nothing to do with her wrestling skills, but I think her size and her look, she's kind of got Liv Morgan syndrome, where I never felt like Liv Morgan was a believable, incredible challenger to Rhea Ripley's world title reign. And I get the same feeling about Zelina Vega. Like, you look at her and she just does not look like a credible threat to anybody, even though she's very talented. She's a great wrestler. Oh, looks like Zelina Vega is getting a little frustrated here. You have to wonder. There we go. Pure Fusion Collective getting involved. Shayna Baszler just smoked her. One knee, put her down. Now that WWE and UFC are owned by the same company, I really want to see Shayna Baszler head to UFC. I want to see some great matchups there. Now we get to see maybe Chance and Carter will make their return. Oh, it's Bird Lady. Bird Lady in the house. But again, the numbers game is probably going to get them. So who's going to be the third one to come out and even the score? It's looking like nobody at this point. So I'm thinking next week we'll Lyra Valkyria will wrestle one of these three, and then we might see a third join their team next week. I don't know who. Rhea's on crutches. I hear yeet in the background, and I'm already getting sick to my stomach. I'm 100% no yeet. Tired of yeet. CM Punk is in the house. All right. So looks like we're going to get some CM Punk action coming up next. We'll find out what's going on, what's in the future for CM Punk, and we will see if CM Punk truly is done with Drew and if Drew is truly done with CM Punk. So we've got one match left to talk about in our Bash at Berlin conversation, and that, of course, is the world title match. Gunther defending against Randy Orton. Great feel-good moment at the beginning of this match where Ludwig Kaiser, the hometown hero, you saw him on Friday night get his championship match against LA Knight, where he answered the open challenge, and the crowd was so hot for him. So to see Samantha Irvin making the introductions, and then this hand just pops into the screen and she hands the microphone over, and it's Ludwig Kaiser. It was a moment. And Gunther was every bit of a champion. Randy Orton was every bit of an amazing challenger. This thing going all over the place. Randy Orton putting Gunther through a table. There were very distinct moments where we thought, could this really happen? Could Randy get that record-setting win? Would this be it for him? But ultimately, it turned out not to be, which I think a lot of people knew was coming. Gunther losing in his quote-unquote hometown there in front of his hometown crowd was not very likely, but Gunther gets the win, choking out Randy Orton. That seems to be his new finisher now, choking people out. A dominant way to show off your champion. A dominant way for your champion to get a win there. So good for Gunther. I'm excited to see where this title reign goes for Gunther. I'm excited to see what happens next. I think Gunther and Punk is going to be extremely interesting. But what do you guys think out there? Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about Raw so far. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to be Gunther's next challenger. Let me know what you think about CM Punk and Drew. Got about 2 hours of show left here, so good way to kick off the second hour of Monday Night Raw. So while you're at it, guys, check out over on our YouTube channel our interview yesterday from the one of one Chris White. We had a great time talking to Chris White. He gave us his top 5 underrated theme songs. Just a absolute wealth of knowledge when it comes to wrestling music. Very, very cool. You can look forward to him in a future episode of Grappling with the Grooves, where we're going to do a special episode where we talk about just wrestling themes. So that was yesterday's interview. Be sure to check that out. But also stick around with us this week. This Sunday, we've got the Cotton Candy Princess Tiffany Avatars joining us, and it'll be a special late night edition of Opinion City. It'll be 9 p.m. this coming Sunday. So check out that interview with Tiffany Avatar. In some future commercial breaks, we'll let you know what else is going on in the month of September here at Opinion City. So far a pretty good show. The 6-person tag match was a lot of fun, a lot of great action there. Of course, we get the challenge for the Wyatt 6 for next week, so we will see a 4-on-4 street fight next week. That'll be really interesting to see how that goes and what happens there. All right. It is Jake, the original tribal chief, checking in. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight. You mentioned what's up, Ralph and Sean. Well, I'll tell you what's up with Sean. Sean is not here. Sean is off celebrating his birthday tonight. So very shortly we should have our newest member, Kenny P, join us here on the show for a little bit, and we may even have ourselves a special guest drop in a little later. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, in a little bit, I will be joined by our good friend Kenny P. They're really pushing this Bad Blood pay-per-view. I'm excited to see what they decide to do with it. I think it's going to be a stacked card. Got a little backstage action. Exactly. Thank you, Jake. Make sure that this gets relayed to Sean. Happy birthday to Sean. He's doing his birthday thing tonight. They're in Calgary next week, so she's got an idea. Is it could they bring Natty in to be their third member? Well, I don't know for sure, but I do know one thing. CM Punk is coming to the ring for a little CM Punk time. Denver crowd going nuts for CM Punk. Denver crowd's been hot tonight. I'll give them credit, man. They're really killing it out there tonight. They're enjoying the action. They're getting involved. They're booing. They're cheering, and that makes for a much better show when you have a crowd that's really into it. I just have a feeling that as much as CM Punk says he's done with Drew, I feel like we're getting a third match in this series before it's really over. My wife was not thrilled with Bash in Berlin. She's a huge Drew McIntyre fan. So once we hit October, that's going to be an amazing couple of weeks there. CM Punk on the first NXT on CW show August 1st, and then the very next week you get Randy Orton on October 1st, and we get Randy on October 8th. So those are going to be some really interesting shows. I feel like they're going to be super stacked cards. You know, this is one thing I don't get about CM Punk. Some weeks his hair looks really good, and then other weeks it looks like he's wearing a wig or he's joined like the hair club for men. I don't know what it is about his hair. It looks like his hair is having a midlife crisis sometimes. Well, I know it's a great Monday to be alive here on Chillin' with the OC. I know that for sure. I heard CM Punk secretly listens to us. Here to make money. That's right. CM Punk with the dye. Should have dyed the facial hair too. I don't know. I kind of disagree about the facial hair. I kind of like that, as they call it, the salt and pepper look. I mean, I got a little bit of that going on myself, and I kind of like it. I think it gives him it's like CM Punk with a more distinguished look. It must be it must be such a great feeling to have enough power and enough clout that you can get a T-shirt made for your dog. That seemed like less of a CM Punk promo than oh, we just went off the air. Let's send the fans home happy. Go out and talk to them. Now I see why. Wow, brutal. Ha! Kicked him right out of his shoe. Oh man, that's great. Love it. I love unhinged McIntyre. I love when he just sees nothing but red. He's not done yet. Ooh, that second Claymore in the ring was brutal. Wow. This is going to have to end with like a ladder match for the custody of the bracelet. Well, so much for that idea. There will be no ladder match. Wow. It's getting awesome, I gotta say. Oh, that was quite the turn of events. I think we all kind of expected that at one point we were going to see Drew McIntyre because, the minute somebody says they're done with something in the wrestling world, someone else has another thought about it. So here we are, first commercial break in hour number 2. So far, I think it's been a great Raw. As I said earlier, I feel like the crowds are really, the crowds are really such a huge part of whether or not it's a great show. Because you can have a good show, you have good matches, but eventually, if your crowd's not into it, if the crowd's it's gonna be bad. It's not gonna be as good as it possibly could be. So hats off to the Denver crowd for really kind of keeping this going. We're going to take a quick break here, and we'll show you this little video. Interestingly enough, quite a few of us here at the OC have beards, and you can't just look as good as I do every day without a little help. So we've got your hookup. Check this out. That's right, folks. Kodama, good friend of the show from the Battery, has his own line of beard care products called Kodama Vanilla Crush. It's sweet vanilla, ice cream, and maple cone scented premium care products. So you can get all of those products over at madcatbeardcare.com. Madcatbeardcare.com will get you all of the Kodama Crush beard products. So if you're like me and you need to keep that beard in check, you need to keep that beautiful looking beard every day, this is how you do it. Get yourself the premium beard care products, and you too can look like the king. All right, so we are back. Again, we love supporting our friends here at SmackDown. You better believe that we love supporting our friends here. So definitely give Kodama's beard care products a look there. Been an interesting Raw so far. The 9 o'clock hour, of course, kicking off with CM Punk and the being basically brutalized by Drew McIntyre. It was pretty crazy. I I felt like it was kind of predictable a little bit, but yes, we do get mandatory breaks from Wild LLC. We get lunch breaks once a month, and then we're allowed to take a 10-minute break every 237 hours. So it's there's a lot of math involved, a lot of figuring it out when we can do things like that. So yeah, we do get to take breaks. They don't want the the labor board coming after them because they're not giving us any breaks. So graciously, they have decided to allow us to take those short little breaks from time to time. And of course, we're back now on Monday Night Raw. We're watching the aftermath of the Drew McIntyre absolute decimation of CM Punk. They are taking CM Punk out on a stretcher. I do like a lot of the new things they're doing, like for example, following CM Punk's stretcher now, and they're really doing a lot of cool camera angles like that. I still don't like the Jey Uso entrance. C. Henry, always looking out for the team here, always making sure that we are in compliance with company labor standards and make sure that we're not getting in trouble for anything. So we appreciate you keeping us in line. Drew McIntyre's back. I love it. Oh, here we go with the blood again. This is gonna have to. You know what? This is probably going to end up being a first blood match in at Bad Blood. Hey, we got a little Parmacheesel checking in. Like to thank Steve from HR for approving my PTO request tonight. King Ralph, keep killing it live. Yep, that's me killing it live, buddy. I think I'm doing a much better job than Wade Barrett's doing on Raw. Actually, I'm not a big Wade Barrett fan, but I will say tonight's been good. I like the new guy. I like the dynamic between him and Wade Barrett. It's my understanding that they'll be moving back to SmackDown once all these things shake out, and we'll have Corey Graves and Michael Cole back on Raw for January when they debut on Netflix. All right, see, Henry says, Parmacheesel, happy birthday and Labor Day, sir. Yeah, we can't forget about the fact that it's Labor Day as well. All right, so we're getting our first Intercontinental Championship three-way match here. We've got Dirty Dom, Ilya Dragunov, and Dragon Lee putting it down for another spot in that Fatal 4-Way next week. I'm telling you, if they could find a way to turn Dom face, and had things gone the other way, I think, and he not turned on Rhea, they could have turned Dom face. But like, if they find a way to turn Dom face, like it's going to be one of the biggest babyface reactions, I think, since Daniel Bryan and the S Movement. I love Dragon Lee's entrance. I can't wait until we get his DLC for WWE 2K24 because I love his entrance. I love the look of the whole thing. I love his gear tonight. I want something like that to wear on Chillin' with the OC. This could be a banger that steals the show. Ooh, here's a good question. In your opinion, who's the better heel, MJF or Dom? Well, I think, in my opinion, I think MJF is the better heel. And the reason I say that is because I feel like MJF puts a lot of work into being a heel. I think that he's like a very, very top tier level heel. He's like Thanos in Endgame. He's just a great heel because he works very hard at it. Not that Dom doesn't, but all Dom has to do is come out and hold up the mic and they boo him. And Dom has been good as a heel, but I feel like MJF just has a different mode in him, a different level to him that catapults him to that top tier level of heels. So my pick would have to be MJF, although, I think Dom does a great job as a heel. I think he does all the right things that you're supposed to do as a heel. He gets great heat from the crowd. He probably gets more heat than MJF does, but that's not for, lack of trying on MJF's part. But I do think MJF is just, born to be a heel. And I think he's a much better heel than Dom. I absolutely love that graphic at the bottom of the screen that tells you the announce team and the ring announcers and backstage interviews. I like that. I think that's a very cool addition, very cool move on their part. These guys are killing it so far. Wade Barrett is ridiculous. That mustache is hideous. I guess that's why we call him Dateline Dom, because he looks like he should be on an episode of Dateline. Ilya Dragunov looking quite impressive this evening. All right. So another commercial during a match. Always good to see, especially a match like that. So we are just about approaching the halfway mark here, the hour and a half halfway mark of our 3-hour show. What's everybody thinking of Raw so far? Let me know in the comments what matches you've enjoyed, what segments you've enjoyed, anything you're looking forward to tonight. If you have any guesses about who's going to be the mystery opponent in the other 3-way match with Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser, it'll be interesting to see what they do, because I think this was a very sort of last minute. I mean, the announcement was last minute about Bronson Reed, so I don't know where they're going to go from here with it. If they had somebody in mind, if they were able to bring somebody in quickly, I'm not really sure where they're going to be going with it, but we'll see what happens. So far, this match, as predicted, is a banger so far. When you have guys like Ilya Dragunov, Dragon Lee, Dom Mysterio, not only are they all super talented, but you have guys that are matching up very well size-wise. So you can have someone like an Ilya Dragunov pulling off those great German suplexes, being able to German suplex the two of them together. You can see the high-flying moves of Dragon Lee, but you can also see the power in certain moves by Ilya Dragunov, or It's just they match up very well together. So I think this was a very well put together match. Great idea. So I did mention earlier that we have some other things going on in September that we will talk about. So of course, as previously mentioned, episode 71 this coming Sunday with Tiffany Avatar. That will be a late night edition of Opinion City. We'll be doing that at 9 p.m. And then the following week, you will see episode 72, our interview with the Angel of Old School, Evelyn Sage. We're super excited for that. Following week, we're talking to Jack Martins, indie wrestler from New Jersey. We're very excited to get a chance to have a conversation with him and learn all about him. And then the following week, we will be making history. This will be the last week in September. This will be the first time that we have had two returning guests in one show. Selena Hakate and Johnny Pierce are coming back to have another wonderful conversation with us about life in New England, life as wrestlers, life as a wrestling couple. Johnny Pierce has been around for a little while. Selena kind of really, getting her feet wet, and we can't wait to talk to the two of them together. Super excited. Great friends of the show. Always good to have them on. All right. We are back to this incredible triple threat match here. Trying to get another spot filled in that fatal four-way. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to be winning this tournament. Who do you think's gonna win the fatal four-way next week? What are your thoughts? I'm sure people have thoughts on who might be the number one contender for the Intercontinental title. Do you see anybody being able to beat Braun Breaker? And I love that they're doing all of this on Monday Night Raw. I love that they're really kind of making the Intercontinental title a focal point of what's going on Monday Night Raw. Just like they're doing with the U.S. title on SmackDown. But I like that, they're having this tournament. They're kind of really highlighting the Intercontinental title as an important part of Monday Night Raw. And I think that's a really smart move, because the way that they're doing pay-per-views now, and the fact that they're doing like these pay-per-views with shorter numbers of matches, and just kind of building it around certain titles. Obviously the world titles are important. They've got to be focal points on all the PLEs. But it's nice to see that they're really focusing on the IC title on Raw. We got the interference from Carlito being cut off at the pass here by Damian Priest. Well, it looks like Dirty Dom's out of this one. Wow. See, Henry would love to see Dateline Dom challenge Braun for the IC title, the chicken heel. I like it. Ooh. Great powerbomb. Tell you, if Dragon Lee stays healthy, he's going to have quite the career. Not only are they chanting "This is awesome," but I love seeing the crowd sign that says "Just enjoy wrestling," because that's really what it's all about. Just enjoy wrestling. Forget about everything going on. Just focus on having a good time and enjoying professional wrestling, no matter who's doing it, no matter who's putting it on. Indies to AEW to Ring of Honor to TNA to New Japan. Just enjoy wrestling however you can. Very interesting. I think they really had big plans for him when they brought him up from NXT. I think they really like him. Great match all around. I agree. Joe says, what respect between these two? I love it. Always good to see. Competitors go out there, give it their all, win, lose, or draw. They show respect to each other. See, Henry says, after watching the post show on Saturday, Cody is a great communicator. The way that he answered that Vince question was professional. Yeah, Cody's had his time in the sun as an EVP over in AEW, and I feel like they gave him that spot at the post show because they really felt confident in the fact that he could go out there and represent the brand in the same way that Triple H would have represented it had he been there. So definitely a big opportunity for Cody. So good to see, because I think somewhere down the line, I would not be surprised when Cody's in-ring career is over that he doesn't transition into some backstage role along the same lines. This stuff with the car last week was absolutely brutal, and I loved every minute of it. Bronson Reed getting thrown and just sliding off the hood of the car and hitting the ground, like not even able to stop his fall or anything, was just insane. I love the visual of that blowing out the car windows. So such a great moment. Really kind of put Bronson Reed, I think, over the top as far as just his level of brutality and how really talented he is. I'm out. I'm done. I don't want to see this match at all now. I'm done. I'm not a Braun Strowman guy at all. I think this is a terrible move. No, not even interested slightly. I'm out. Done. Well, here we go with our championship celebration for the new women's tag team champions, Bianca Belair and Jade Storm, getting their titles back from Alba Fire and Isla Dawn this past Saturday at Bash in Berlin. And now we get a little championship celebration. All right, so now I'm confused because they said they're going to sit there and watch the number one contender match. Well, what happened to the championship celebration? Because they had a whole thing posted on WWE.com under the Raw preview that they were having a championship celebration tonight. Let's see what they said here. This Monday, new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill will be live on Raw as they celebrate dethroning the Unholy Union. How will Belair and Cargill celebrate their huge win at Bash in Berlin? So, are we not getting a celebration? Because I was hoping for some massive shenanigans during this whole celebration. So I don't know. We'll see what we get when we come back from commercial break. Just a reminder for everyone out there, we have merch. That's right. As you can see, that's our new Opinion City Wild LLC Let Us In logo, available on our TeePublic and Teespring sites. Of course, the links are down in the description below. And you can see we've got more merch. We've got great looking Monday Night Raw logos, fantastic stuff done by Parmesan. We've got all kinds of other logos and merch as well. We've got fanny packs. We've got all that great stuff. So check that out on our Teespring and our TeePublic sites. I believe we have one or two logos up on Pro Wrestling Tees as well. One other thing I want to point out to you guys, if you want to give us feedback on the show, if you've got content suggestions, you've got things you want to talk about, things you want us to talk about, any kind of feedback at all, at the bottom of the description, you'll see a link to our new feedback form. So please take the time to let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see. Because, again, we are here for you guys. We are here to entertain and delight you guys. So we thank you for continuously supporting us, and we want to be able to give you the option to send us some feedback and let us know what you're thinking, what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see. So thanks for joining us each and every week for Chillin' with the OC, Chillin' with the Bros, our Opinion City podcasts on Sunday afternoons, our Wrestling with Life episodes, our Grappling with the Groove episodes. We just appreciate all of your support. And make sure that you are hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, hitting that share button. Absolutely important. We're trying to get as many subscribers as we can. The more subscribers we get, the more we can do for you guys, the more we can continue to do the things that you enjoy, like Chilling with the OC. You know, maybe we'll be able to add some stuff. maybe we'll be able to do some other shows, different things that we can do. And every time you hit any of those buttons, the like, subscribe, or share, it helps us out. All right. Chris LeClaire checking in. Welcome. Damage Control is still called Damage Control, even though Bailey created Damage Control. So that seems to be a thing. Keeping names, Damage Control. I kind of felt like they might get away from that at some point, because I feel like it's more like, for me, it's more like Dakota Kai's the leader almost. But you've got some really talented people there, and again, Bailey created Damage Control, so yeah. As long as they come up with a name that's not as bad as Power Fusion Collective or whatever, that's a horrible name. But yeah, great comment on Damage Control there, Chris. Thanks for joining us. And it looks like we're about to get ready for our number one contenders match for the women's tag team titles. As much as I love Pirate Princess Kairi Sane, I gotta say I love the dark heel version of Kairi Sane. And I love the look of Io Sky and Kairi Sane. They have such a distinct style, and they come out with all the massive colors everywhere, and definitely a great look. Chris says, I'm going for Damage Control. Interestingly enough, I would like to see Damage Control get the win as well, because I'm a huge Kairi Sane fan. I love Io Sky. I think she's great. I love the high risk stuff she does. And honestly, I love Damage Control. I do like the Unholy Union as well. I think that they're both extremely talented, and I was really happy to see them get that tag title reign as short as it was. They finally get a little push there and a little spotlight shown on them, because they're both extremely talented. But yeah, I got to go with Damage Control on this one. I hope they get the win. Alba Fire looks like she wants to murder someone. I do miss Alba Fire's entrance, where she used to come out with like the fire on the stick. I think this is going to be a great match, because I think both teams are well-seasoned tag teams that are very cohesive as units, work together very well as a tag team. You saw in the match at Bash in Berlin that Alba Fire and Isla Dawn complement each other very well. It's almost like they know they know what the other's going to do before they do it. But Damage Control is tough. I mean, they're both extremely talented, and they've got great cohesiveness as a team as well. So this should be a great match. I'm just waiting for somebody to lose it and go after Bianca and Jade. Well, here we are, another commercial break. I feel like they're kind of I feel like these women's matches have been getting a ton of commercial breaks tonight. I mean, other matches have had them too, but I feel like the women's matches are really getting the raw end of the deal there, the short end of the stick, as they say. So it'll be interesting to see now. I'd like to see them really kind of build the women's tag division. It'll be interesting to see what happens here because again, the women's tag team champions are supposed to be able to go to any show. So we've got a number one contenders match here on Raw. So once Bianca and Jade get through whoever that is, or they drop the titles to whoever that is, I'd like to see them do the same thing on SmackDown. I'd like to see them do the same thing on NXT. Because again, the point of these women's tag team titles and the fact that there's only one set of women's tag team champions is that they're supposed to be able to move from show to show to show. So I really hope they kind of lean into that and hit that up and really kind of take advantage of that. But who knows what they'll do? It's hard to say. I just like the fact that we're highlighting women, we're highlighting women's wrestling, because I enjoy women's wrestling. I enjoy a great women's match. And we've had some moments where women's wrestling has really kind of been highlighted a little bit. I feel like they did a great job on NXT with Natalia and Lola Vice in the NXT Underground match. And they've got a lot of talented women. It looks like they're really kind of bolstering up that women's division in NXT. We just recently saw Julia show up at No Mercy, so she's on her way. And there's talk of some others that they're really interested in. So I hope this is a really good sign for the women's division, that Triple H really wants to put a focal point and a spotlight on them, because women's wrestling deserves it. And I feel like we're getting to a point now where we're post Vince, so not only can women get a fair shake because they're not being seen as just objects, but I'm hoping the tag team division in general can get some love now that Vince is not there, because Vince again didn't really understand tag team wrestling, wasn't a big fan of it. So I'm hoping now moving forward, we're going to get some real attention for the tag team division as well. And I think it kind of started at WrestleMania 40 and just, splitting up the titles and having, new championship belts made. And, hopefully we get to see more great things in the tag team scene. Hopefully we get to see more great things in the women's scene. Harry Sane not able to get the tag. Io Sky just so impressive, showing why she's considered to be one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. I will say one thing I like about tag team wrestling and what's been going on now. I really enjoy the cohesiveness in outfits of the different various tag teams, because it's one thing to be doing your own thing and dress kind of differently, but it really it brings out the idea that you are a true team when you are wearing coordinating gear, especially like looking at Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. They're doing the red and black. Kairi Sane and Io Sky sort of have the same kind of take on the Japanese aesthetic of Japanese women wrestlers. And Bianca Belair got smoked. So Jordan Kirby says, I really don't care for women's tag titles. Just give us the US and the IC women's titles. I definitely think there's something to be said for creating secondary titles for the women's titles. I do kind of like the idea of women's tag team titles, but again, they have to do what they were supposed to do with them, and that's have them defended everywhere on every show, and we haven't really been seeing that. But I think if I had to pick between the two, be it tag teams titles or say a US and an IC women's title, I would go with the US and IC, because I think we really need to see more attention brought to the women's division. And that's it for Damage Control. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn get the win. They will be the number one contenders to the women's tag team titles, getting a future title shot. We don't know when. Wow, is Kairi Sane bleeding? Kairi Sane looks like she's got a nasty bleed there from the eye. This is not done between Damage Control and Bianca Belair and Jade Storm. Ooh, little Kofi Gunther interaction. All right. So we've got Gunther up next, but we got to talk about a couple things first. Jordan Kirby says, Damage Control are the female version of the Shield. That's an interesting thought. I don't know if I would 100% agree with that, but I think you see some groups now that are kind of doing some very Shield-esque things. So I definitely think there is a vibe there, but I'm not sure if I would necessarily call Damage Control the female version of the Shield. Now, the other thing we need to talk about is what just happened backstage. Because Kofi was interrupted by Gunther, but before he was saying to Adam Pearce, I have a proposition for me and Woods. Now, what's interesting about that, and I'm going to have to check to make sure that this wasn't taken care of during the day after it was reported, but interestingly enough, it was reported earlier today that two names had been removed from the roster of WWE on WWE.com. Number one was Trish Stratus. She was moved over to the alumni section. However, interestingly enough, Odyssey Jones was 100% completely removed from WWE.com. Now, the Wyatt Six members were removed as well, but if you go to their page, it said you're not authorized to see this page or whatever it is. Odyssey Jones, nothing. So here we have whatever is going on with Odyssey Jones, and now you have Kofi saying, "Oh well, we've got a proposition for you for myself and Woods." Now it's also being reported that not only was Odyssey Jones removed from the WWE.com roster page, he's not at tonight's Raw. So there's really no word on what Jones' status with the company is right now. They had plugged him into this role of the New Day and kind of being, the one that's kind of causing dissension between Kofi and Woods, because Kofi brought in Odyssey to help them out with the Final Testament. And so it's been this long sort of, winding road where we're really starting to see Woods not be on board with Odyssey Jones. And we see that little bit of dissension between Woods and Kofi, where Kofi's making decisions and Woods says, well, why aren't we making this decision as a team? We don't need anybody to replace Big E, all these different things. But it could all be for nothing, because we could be seeing the end of Odyssey Jones in WWE. We do not know anything for sure. We're not speculating on anything, just reporting what has been going down, and the fact that he was removed from the roster and is reportedly not at Raw tonight. Chris says, I'm not looking forward. You're seeing Unholy Union versus Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair for the women's tag team titles again. I agree. If Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are gonna drop the titles to Bianca and Jade, I feel like Bianca and Jade have to move on now to something else. There are other tag teams out there, and I think if we continue to circle around the same teams all the time, it's going to devalue the titles a little bit, and it's going to make people get bored very easily, because we want to see new challengers. We want to see, Bianca and Jade wrestle some new people. And, again, based on the rules of the titles, they could be wrestling anybody from any show. So there's plenty of options out there where it doesn't have to be, a constant rematch between the two teams. It's like when we were getting New Day and Final Testament, some variation of it practically every week on Raw. So, I see your point, and I kind of agree too. As much as I like Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, I think it's time for Bianca and Jade to move on to something new. Hopefully they can put that behind them and get a win over the Unholy Union, and then kind of move on to new things. Now we're getting a quick recap on Bash in Berlin. Again, great show, great crowd. The international crowds for WWE PLEs have been amazing. It's a home run every time. Australia, Germany, France, Puerto Rico. It's just been great. They've been super hot crowds. Boo. 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 Now we're getting to something that I can look forward to. Certainly not Yeet. Not looking forward to that at all, and I hope they get smoked. However, Gunther returning to Raw with his championship in tow after having won a brutal match at Bash in Berlin. I'm super excited to hear what Gunther's got to say. Will he address CM Punk? Will he look past CM Punk? Will he make fun of CM Punk for getting destroyed again by Drew McIntyre and saying he's not a worthy challenger? Who knows what'll happen? Will we see somebody interrupt Gunther and stake their claim at a championship match? Many, many, many things could happen here. Obviously, Ludwig Kaiser not out here with Gunther as he's preparing for his match against Sheamus and the one-legged Strowman train, Braun Strowman. Gotta say, the WWE graphics appointment is just on fire lately. Everything's been looking so good. Ooh, now this is interesting. I don't know if I saw this coming. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show Captain Sweatpants. All right. Well, before we get to what Sami Zayn's got to say to Gunther, we've got another person joining the show. It's about time to get this thing rolling. It's about time to get this party jumping. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Chillin' with the OC, my OC brother, Kenny P. What's up, man?
Better late than never, my dude.
Hey,
how you doing?
Good to see you, man. We're doing well. I've been firing on all cylinders here. It's been a great show
Running
so
and
far.
gunning.
What we do, man. Like the Pure Fusion Collective says, shoot your shot. You know?
Whoa.
Yeah.
They got a, that's such like a Mick Generator, Chili McFrost, Ice Dagger. Those are the two. Do you remember any of those names from the list, the infamous list?
Oh yeah.
The two that always come straight to my mind are Chili McFreeze and Ice Dagger. Those are the two that always pop off.
Those are pretty good.
Mick Foley wrote a book called Have a Nice Day, Kids. Read it and then read it again. Cool. Thanks for hanging out. So yeah, Sami Zayn, he's a hell of a wrestler, having a good time, having fun, singing songs. He'll fit right in with the Goonth man. I don't know. I still like calling him Big Baby Walter. Mama called him Walter. I'm gonna call him Walter.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
well, he's still the last guy to have beaten Walter before Walter became world champ. So
yeah, that's true. It's built-in program right there. So and where's their next big one? Is there another big one?
Well, the next big one is going to be first weekend in October. They're bringing back the Bad Blood pay-per-view, and that's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. So they've
Ooh,
been doing all the
in Hotland, are they going the double D's? Bad to blood?
yes.
That would be
So
great.
so they've been doing all these
The
promos.
second biggest wrestling show that's happening that day.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, man. Go Birds. All right.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
We don't want to. I'm
No.
not here to. You know.
No, I got you. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to October 5th. Did you see the first talent announcement?
I sure did. I saw it this morning.
Excited?
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. He's a brother who grew up on the old, on the classic Southern style. You know,
Nice,
you
yeah.
strip everything else away,
Mhm.
and you've got yourself one heck of a wrestler. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this, to the goodness. We're obviously talking about Steel Stack SmackDown, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. LVAC are bringing in, I believe, for the first time making his debut,
He is making his debut. Yep. Effie will be at the Effie will be there.
Everybody. Effie is coming to Steel Stacks.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Big
crazy
Dan's
show.
gonna slap him around. Maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. Big Dan the man. Do you see that new shirt Dan's dropping? Pretty sweet.
The Springsteen shirt.
Very dystopian. Very dystopian. Bethlehem Steel Stacks. Very big Dan. Very good.
I like it.
So
I like it. It's a cool shirt.
Already pre-ordered one of those bad boys in a large.
Nice.
So that's how we're doing it.
That's how we're doing it. Yeah. I would order one of those in large and it would fit one of my arms.
Yeah.
Like the whole shirt would fit one of my arms.
Yeah, see, I'm psyched about it now. So today's a hype day. I'm celebrating 2.5 years, no booze. What up?
Oh,
so,
dude, that is awesome. Congratulations,
man. In
man.
that whole process, I've dropped about 65 pounds and I've cashed out on like I've spent like 10 years collecting 2XL t-shirts and now they're all like So I've actually I'm finding a couple in larges that are still out there. So that way it's like, oh yeah, I had to get rid of this 2X, but I'm gonna get a new one in a nice one. Speaking of which, shout out to Edith. Hope she's doing well.
That's awesome.
Hope she's doing good out there. Hope
always good thoughts, good vibes, and good prayers to our friend Edith Surreal.
To our friend Edith Surreal, who had I'm calling it already. Every year, I know it's going to be coming up soon. Website I like to contribute for their year end, like match of the year. It's called thepopbreak.com. They do lots of great pop culture, movie reviews, wrestling, sports, all kinds of great stuff. And they always have a great, like, what was your favorite match of the year? And I was like, already happened, Mania weekend. That'd be Edith Surreal versus Daniel Makabe.
Yeah, there you go.
Wrestling match I never thought would ever happen, let alone I would get to stand like 10 feet away from while it happened.
Yeah, how about it, man?
So good. So good. IWTV, Sean Henderson presents the Mania weekend shows. It's all there. You understand the words coming out of my mouth. You guys are smart. You know what to do. You pay attention.
Oh yeah.
You're members of the cult of the Wild LLC. He knows he's got you guys trained as to what to do and where to go and how to watch things. So you know what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
You know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yes, it's happening.
Oh.
It's the magic. Let's see what else happened this week. Let's see. I got to play some drums on Wednesday. I got to play with my friends Random Test. They play straight reggae rhythms, man. Lots of fun, lots of classics. Some Bob Marley tunes, some Bernie Spear tunes, some Barrington Levy. A couple Yellow Man, a couple other classics. Like we like to mix it up and get a lot of that happening. And then on Saturday, I got to play with a couple other of my friends called the Jaded Monkeys, which is a little more like rock Americana type of thing going on. So we did a bunch of 90s tunes. We did a bunch of I guess like what was it, like Run Around Sue and Twist and Shout, like we did a block of those. We did like a block of those tunes that like it was like a historical tavern in Freehold, New Jersey that dates back to the 1700s apparently.
Very cool.
It was a big giant restored wooden barn. It was very USA. So was a good
Very
time.
cool.
So got to play some music, which was a lot of fun. And Labor Day weekend, taking the local roads, avoiding the big highways. Being based on the Jersey Shore here, it gets real busy. Everybody's getting maxing out their weekend. I saw everybody rolling up the Parkway North. It was jam packed. Literally, why they call it a parkway, because people were parked on it.
Of course. Yeah.
No yeet.
Oh, no yeet is right. Oh, okay.
That's pretty funny.
Oh boy.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
have I missed it? Is Jason Uso hurt? Or I'm sorry,
wait,
James Uso? Is James Uso hurt?
James, we don't really know about. I don't think so. They've just been keeping him off of TV. He was taken out by his brother Jay at WrestleMania 40, and that was the last time we saw him.
Oh snap! We haven't seen.
We haven't seen him since then. Because wait, I'm sorry. We did see him after that, but the Bloodline took him out. Solo axed him from the Bloodline when Solo took over. So we did see him briefly on SmackDown, but it's been quite a minute.
Okay. And then completely unrelated, but like Naomi still got a role in the show somewhere?
Naomi is still she does.
Kind of.
She's in the mix after WrestleMania 40. Yeah, after WrestleMania 40, she kind of aligned herself with Jade, Storm, and Bianca Belair for a little while because they were battling some of the other groups and
But I feel is that out of gas? I feel like that's out of gas.
Yeah, she's still around, but she's not really doing much of anything.
So okay, so again, not on her. It's on the producers. So okay. Yeah, whatever. So okay, cool. So they need because I would imagine maybe James is home so that or James. I don't know. I can't even do the bit properly. I'm sorry. I guess the one guy is home so that they can focus on the other guy to be the guy. I don't know.
Correct.
I liked when they could just be a team and beat people up. That was cool.
Yeah, I like that too. So I announced this a little bit earlier during the show. I don't have any fancy graphics for it or anything yet, but
big announcement. Let's go.
I'm gonna be writing for a pro wrestling zine.
Sweet.
It's called Dropkick Daily.
Excellent.
You can find them on Instagram at Dropkick Daily, and I will be my first column will appear in issue 20, and I'm writing an article entitled "CM Punk, Cultural Phenomenon or Crazy Cult Leader."
Okay.
So I'm taking the I'm taking the premise that I believe that some of the tribalism in wrestling, unintentionally or intentionally, as the case may be, comes from CM Punk and his fan base. So there'll be some interesting stuff in there. I'm pretty excited about it.
I feel like there were definitely people who wanted to see AEW fail and be very vocal about it before Pepsi Phil was a part of the situation. And he once again added more fuel to the fire, so to speak. But I feel like in anything there's going to be, tribalism, and I'm always of the camp like, when I was a young wrestling fan, it didn't matter to me what company it was. I didn't have any loyalty.
Right.
I didn't care that there were 10 fans in the crowd on the afternoon wrestling syndicated whatever stuff I saw. I was like, oh cool, wrestling's on TV.
Right.
Know, oh cool, here's this guy I only heard about in magazines that I can see like wrestle in front of 15 people on television on a Tuesday afternoon after school or something. That's rules.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was never like, oh, I don't watch this company because this is terrible, or I don't watch that company because this is terrible. It's like, oh cool, wrestling.
Well, and I think
so
where I'm
what it is.
Yeah, I think where I'm coming from with this is that CM Punk has a fan base that we've never really seen to this level before, where they are fanatical for CM Punk no matter what he does. You know, CM Punk could go out on TV and murder babies and they would follow him to the ends of the earth. So it's a very fanatical fan base, and I feel like that adds to some of the tribalism, and where he has gone and what he's done adds to that and fuels the fire of that tribalism. Now, I kind of talk a little bit about in this article whether or not I feel like that is something that CM Punk intentionally played upon,
Sure,
or used as fuel. I don't want to spoil the whole article, but
Sure.
there's some interesting stuff in there about
Dropkick Daily on Instagram.
what I think was CM Punk's goal the whole time. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. Oh, and here's another first too. You'll like this one because so I haven't gotten anybody together yet. I haven't like talked to people yet, but I'm starting a cover band.
All right.
It's gonna be a Guns N' Roses cover band.
You know
except
you are.
it's gonna be all saxophones, and it's
Okay.
gonna be called Saxel Rose.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yep.
That's perfect.
Yep.
And is like jazz arrangements, or are you still gonna try and do them sort of like
No, I think we'll
swing
probably do
style?
like maybe some jazz, some swing. I could see us doing a little bossa nova in there, you know. Yeah. So
It can be done.
yeah, you know,
Boom,
kind of like
boom, 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 boo, 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 doo,
there you
doo,
go.
doo, doodly, doo, doo, boo, doo, doo, doodly, doo, 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 doo,
Yeah.
doo. It can be done.
I can feel it. It would be like
Hit
Richard
us with
Cheese and
your
Rage Against the Machine.
saxophone GNR cover suggestions in the comments.
Yeah, definitely let us know what you think of that idea.
That's pretty good. Are we thinking like different arrangements, like we go, so for those who don't know, there's your traditional saxophone, which would be considered your tenor saxophone,
Mhm.
and then they get sort of bigger or somewhat smaller from there. You have your tenor, you have your alto. Actually, alto, I guess, would be the most
Well,
common. That would be sort of
no,
kind
I
of
think
traditional for school, I guess, like marching band or high school. Like if you played saxophone in school,
alto is
start on
usually where
right?
you start. Yeah, alto is
Yeah.
where you start, but tenor is the more well known, because when you see like, you know, bands of the 60s that, you
Sure.
know, tenor is the most recognizable, but alto is usually where you start.
Yeah, and then so tenor is because the range of the instrument, you can hit a bunch of low notes, you can also hit a bunch of high notes, and you can also hit a ton of mid-range notes. The saxophone player in a reggae band I was in for a very long time plays tenor saxophone on a regular basis. And then you get into the baritone sax. He's actually in a saxophone quartet called the Sunken City Sax Quartet.
Oh wow.
They're on X and Instagram at Sunken City Sax, I believe. And so they do like different community events, porch fests, you know, things like that. But
Gotcha,
they're
sure.
beautiful. It's just great to roll up and hear like 4 saxophones, different, you know, one player's on an alto, there's 2 tenors, and I believe a baritone, and they all play the different parts like a 4-part vocal harmony. They do the similar thing except with saxophones. So that's definitely something fun to do.
That's cool. Yeah, baritone is what I play.
Okay, great. So
I have my own baritone
which would
sax,
basically
yeah.
be like the bass player of the saxophone quartet.
Pretty much, yeah. So I know enough people that play saxophone. I'm trying to expand my musical ownership. That's the baritone is the only sax I have right now. But I really want a soprano sax.
Yeah,
so
classic.
Soprano sax is really cool. Now,
Classic.
everybody, you know, Kenny G obviously is the most probably famous to play the tenor saxophone, and it looks like for those that don't know, it looks like a golden clarinet, as if you were playing a clarinet. Although they do make soprano saxophones that are like an alto saxophone, just a miniature version. It is the coolest looking thing. Yeah,
yes, that's right. I've seen those before. I figured that there was just a tiny alto, but that's funny. That's actual soprano.
It's an actual soprano.
Very,
yeah, it's very tiny. Like,
I
don't know if it would be small enough for my hands, like, because my hands are pretty big. So
work on that fingertip dexterity there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but that's great. But why do I got to change it? Why do I got to change my name? He's the one who sucks. So, the old Axel von Dieter.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Like we Axel Dieter Jr. That's his name. That's right. That's my buddy. Shout out to Bill Bodkin, author, editor-in-chief of the Pop Break. He loves this guy. So big progress head. He was a big progress head back in the day. So he loves this dude. Axel Dieter Jr. And Shame Dog throwing them soup bones, laying them in. You know, so funny. I remember like 10 years ago, they would make jokes about how like you could just go everywhere and find Seamus figs like everywhere. And Seamus was sort of like out of the mix for a while as far as like production and figures and stuff. And so now that the changes are made, he's like rubber stamped right back into the rotation as if it was like 2011 and stuff. And like, you're starting to see the proliferation of Seamus figs come back around again, which is wild.
That's great. Yeah.
Because like I'm sure some of his like first early versions of figs are like buried in the landfill next to the BT cartridges and stuff. Like,
probably, yeah.
It's wild. Like there was early days of the We Watch Wrestling podcast. It was like two guys who loved wrestling with a third guy who didn't. So when they would explain moves, they would literally take two. They were like, "Oh, we should get some figures." And then like, the next episode, they're like, "Oh, I got this Sheamus figure." I was like, "Oh, I got a Sheamus figure too." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's great." So they would demonstrate moves. They were like, "We're trying to help the earth and we're trying to clean up, rid the earth of all of these Sheamus figs that are everywhere." So they would describe moves, and it would be like Sheamus doing a move to a Sheamus, and it would be like, and like the submission hold goes like this, and they would just figure it out. Sheamus doing it to Sheamus, like
that's great,
very funny. Cleaning up the earth of all the plastic, one Sheamus fig at a time. So so
that's awesome.
It's funny stories. But things are happening. How was what else go on in your week that you probably already chatted about that I missed out
on? I didn't actually, but interestingly enough, over the course of the last week, my wife had surgery last Monday, which was why I wasn't on. Which is why I wasn't on the show last Monday. She's progressing along nicely. But excellent. There was when she first after surgery, they were a little concerned about some of her levels, her oxygen level, things like that. So we ended up spending all of Monday night in the hospital. They checked her in, and she was a little nervous about being in the hospital. So I stayed there with her overnight. And then I myself went to the emergency room Friday night because I've been having issues with my back that they have yet to kind of figure out. They've kind of figured out now. They're like, listen, we have ruled absolutely everything else out. It has got to be a torn muscle. So there's that.
Oh man. So you body slammed a giant in front of 93,000 people too?
No, I hip tossed a large Samoan guy on the deck of a aircraft carrier.
There you go. So that'll tear a back muscle every time.
That'll do it every time. So, but the nice thing about
that's if you didn't tear the muscle on the rope climb down off of the helicopter onto the aircraft carrier before the hip toss.
Yes.
So lots of room for tearing back muscles in that whole sequence of things going on.
To be fair, they're not sure if it was one of those things or if it was when I ran to the ring and shook the ropes. I thought it might have had something to do with that too.
Hey, it's happened. I mean, I've heard of guys just coming out on an entrance and being so hyped on the crowd that they throw their arms up and just break their shoulder.
Well, listen, I mean, Kevin Nash woke up one morning and thought about getting out of bed and tore a quad. So,
listen, wrestling's a tough business on families, man, and it's not funny. It's tough business, and it's hard. It's not ballet, and people really do get hurt out there, and
that's correct. Joke. I can attest to that. I went to an autograph signing one time with Greg the Hammer Valentine, and
put a hurting on you.
I stood behind the table with him to take a picture, and all of a sudden he turns and he chops me in the chest. Now I'm talking like a full-on Greg the Hammer Valentine chop.
Yeah, he's not pulling that one.
He was like, I couldn't help myself. He's like, when I see a chest like that, I just gotta chop it.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, my chest was red and bruised for 2 weeks.
I'm not surprised.
It was.
Imagine that happens to Thick Brother at the grocery store. He's just walking past some old guy, and Greg Valentine just like,
yeah. Listen, a lot of wrestlers will tell you that one of the things that hurts the most in wrestling is the chop, and they're not lying.
Oh, Bret Hart hates them. Bret Hart hates them. Like
Orange Cassidy hates them too.
Oh, really? See, great minds think alike.
He does not want to get chopped. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities between the two.
Bret always goes off in his books or his interviews and stuff about how he thinks chops are dumb and they're stupid, and like the whole idea of the art of pro wrestling and how defiant that chops are to what the art of pro wrestling is. And he even mentions it like with his matches with Flair, and he's like, yeah, fine, whatever, Rick, you want to go out there and do your stupid chops, I'll just let you, whatever, like, fine, we'll go have your stupid match, I'll let you chop me as many times as you want with your stupid chops, whatever, like, it's just, so hilarious.
He loves chops about as much as he loves Goldberg.
I didn't know that OC was not a chop guy either. That's
not
great.
A chop guy either. No,
that's great. Just like how Matt Cardona is not a drop toe hold guy. So it's funny.
Yeah, good times.
That's great. So I'm trying to think. So let's see. So Effie's the first announcement. I mean, do we put Effie in there against Cheeseburger? That's a good match, right? That's a good singles contest. I would imagine that would be a little entertaining, little, clash of styles. You have another good clash of styles. Well, I mean, I would say Effie versus Puff in a singles match, but Puff might be in tag team action with Jeff Cannonball's Club Soda. Not to sell short their manager, Downtown Spaghetti Buffet, Simon Sutherland, who is going to be in the building. The biggest show of the year, Steel Stacks SmackDown wouldn't be Steel Stacks SmackDown, baby, without the Downtown Spaghetti Buffet.
He's the man that brings the squirt. He knows all about it. Listen,
that's right.
I'm telling you, he told me. He said, listen, squirt is best served room temperature, and the man was not lying. Because I'm not a guy that likes, I'm all about cold drinks and things have got to be cold. And I'm like, I'm very skeptical about this, but I tried it and the man's right.
You know what, Downtown Spaghetti Buffet? You got a point there, pal. But for sure, it's gonna be a good one. So let's try to think. So we got Big Dan in there. We got Effie Drew Gulak. That could be a contest.
Oh, that could be interesting. Yeah, because Drew Gulak is officially confirmed because he's on the poster.
Officially confirmed on the poster.
Yeah.
Effie Ultra Mantis. That's a main event anywhere in the world.
Oh yeah.
Effie versus Big Dan. Does Big Dan's final match want to be versus Effie, or does Big Dan want to settle the score? Like what do we have going on?
I don't want to ruin anybody's illusions or dreams here. I don't want to screw too many things up, but I have to say, the last time I talked to Big Dan, which would have been, when was the last time I saw him? I don't think it was Real Rumble, but it was something around that time, and we asked him about Steel Stack SmackDown and if that was going to be his last show, because that was, from what I understood, the plan. And he's like, I don't know, maybe. So I don't know what the deal is. I'm sure it'll be his last Steel Stack SmackDown in the ring. Whether it's his last official match or not, because I believe they're only doing Steel Stack SmackDown, and then they're doing one more Sokol's show this year. They're doing a Christmas show,
right?
The holiday Let's Hang,
the holiday hangout for sure.
Yeah, because
wouldn't be a proper season without the holiday hangout.
Yeah,
it's a bumski we don't get to do the Halloween shows. Were always fun, where people showed up in costumes. Those are always a good time. So
I'm disappointed that I have never been to one of those. I will tell you, the one time I dressed up for Halloween for a wrestling show. It was a Chikara show, and it was like the weekend of Halloween. So there was a big groundswell on the Chikara 101 board to get everybody to wear costumes. So I wore my.
Remember what year this was?
I don't, but I can find out.
Okay. I mean to interrupt your story because I want to.
No,
be very curious.
No, it's all good. So I decided to wear my Dude Love costume.
There you go. It's a good one. Always good. Can't go wrong with the dude, Mister in your house.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun because a lot of the wrestlers wanted to take pictures with me dressed as Dude Love. It was quite a magical day. It was a lot of fun.
That's excellent. The last Halloween hangout, my buddy DJ dressed up as Tugboat, and he nailed it, A plus. And as you know, maybe our audience doesn't, but classic Chikara commentator, FKA Leonard F. Chikarson, Joe Sposto is a commentator for LVAC, and one of his all-time favorite wrestlers is Raven, which is very funny to hear him. He'll be like, "Oh, I never want to meet Raven. Everybody tells me I shouldn't. I should meet him, but I always hear these stories, and I don't want to meet him because don't meet your heroes or stuff like that." But so I found the classic Sandman shirt and did the cutoff jeans and did the flannel and found the wig and did the leather jacket and all that stuff. It was very funny. And then just I went up to him and I was just like, "What about me?" So it's very funny. And Zia Hilty, former Chikara photographer, was at the show and had saw me from like across the room and thought I was Triple H because of the hair, because it had a little bit of a blonde streaks in the hair and the leather jacket. And then when she came up closer, she was like, "Oh, it's you." And then like gave me a big hug and was like, "Oh, this is hilarious." So it was great. So she's the best. Oh, Raw's gonna be in Calgary.
Calgary next week.
Let's go. Wave the flag, red and white, God's country, the great white north. Let's go. Alberta, Canada. Oh, there we go. Pete Dunne, Swamp Monster himself on television. Top business. Yeah. I got Sean with that good one last week. He was like, "Oh, he put on the thing." I was like, "What do you mean put on the thing? He was a swamp monster. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
There's no costume. He literally morphed into a swamp monster. He got caught in a big net.
Indeed.
Eastern Pennsylvania. It was wild.
Yeah, good times. Good
man.
Times.
I not often I get out there these days, but when I do, I always take a second to cruise past the old Palmer Funplex and just sort of take it in for a second.
Yeah,
so.
I have family that lives very close to the Funplex, so I see it from time to time.
Hallowed halls, man, not a church, but it's holy ground.
Indeed. So I found out when that show was. The Halloween show was October 27th, 2018. It was the La Loteria Lethal.
Okay. And that was at the factory, so I'm pretty sure I was at that show. Sounds about right. What's on the card for that bad boy? Do you have that handy?
All right. So first round matchup, we got Princess Kimberly and the Whisper defeating Hallowicked and Shaza McKenzie, which that started my I have to see if I can find I made a graphic for them.
I was 100% at that show, and I remember they did the drawing of the teams beforehand, but I did not see the drawing of the teams. So I just came in for the show. So when they announced the teams as like it was like Mystery Vortex for me personally, because I missed the announcements. So Hallowicked comes out, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Hallowicked, this can be awesome. And then Shaza comes out, and I think if you go back and watch the show on IWTV, you can hear me literally guffawing. Like whether it's at her entrance or it's with the two of them like together and they do their little entrance or presentation together.
Yeah.
You can hear me literally guffawing in the second row, like doubled over with laughter about how hilarious this is going to be. That like, you know, big bad evil Hallowicked is teaming up with like Shaz McKenzie. Very, very funny. And then that was when Princess Kimberly and Whisper were the feuding tag team partners under the new collection of everybody under control trying to take the company over. Wackiness, weird spirit ghosts and stuff.
Crazy stuff.
Kimberly's still doing Reiki treatments these days.
I saw that.
Still making sure to keep all them demons in check, man. Still keeping making sure everybody's spiritual stuff is in proper order. So
indeed.
Very cool. Very
so
cool to see.
That was one first round match. Then we had Cam Zagami and Jimmy Rave defeated Hype Rockwell and Oleg the Usurper.
Man.
Quite some team ups there, let me tell you.
Right. Cam Zagami teamed with Jimmy Rave at the Wrestle Factory.
I always liked that Cam Zagami came out to Heaven is a Place on Earth.
Yeah.
I always thought
classic.
that was hilarious.
Classic
good stuff.
He's great. Get a pair of socks. That guy needs a pair of socks. Cam Zagami.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So all right. So here's some interesting people in this matchup.
We can always not talk about it if you don't want to, man. It's cool.
Well, no, it's fine. Solo Darling tagged with one Rory Gulak to take on Travis Huckabee and Ophidian.
So that's a Battle of the Rumblebees singles match, is what you're saying.
Indeed, correct. Yeah.
Hell of a contest in that series. What was the next match?
Juan Francisco and Missile Assault Man defeated Blank and Ice Cream Jr.
That's okay. That's probably a good one to go back and check out.
I would think so.
The odd pairing of, Blank is definitely not there for any of Ice Cream Jr.'s antics whatsoever.
No, definitely not.
That would be very interesting. That's a clash of styles in a tag team very well.
Oh yeah,
excellent right there.
So then we had a Chikara Young Lions Cup defense. Danger Hawk defeated Still Life with Apricots and Pears.
Okay. Two young and up and comers battling out for the cup.
Yeah. Remember
those very well.
Oh, so
was Danger Hawk, you say?
That was Danger Hawk, yes. So Green Ant defeated Volgar by DQ in a singles match.
Whatever happened? I was thinking about Volgar the other day, which is very random to be thinking about weird dudes from the Proteus wheel who aren't big Calyx, but
I don't know, because he's the one that he kind of disappeared. Like you saw a lot of Big Calix, you saw a lot of Frantic afterwards, but Volgar just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We had a
Frantic. That's right.
You remember Frantic? Yeah.
I remember Frantic in his later iteration, but yes, now that you mentioned Frantic, because I was rocking my Big Calix shirt the other day.
Oh, nice.
And a dude at the store pointed out the Japanese writing because there's little Japanese kanji underneath where it says Big Calix. And I was like, oh, you know kanji? I was like, so what does that say? And he goes, Big Killer Boy? I was like, yeah. I was like, nailed it. I was like, that's Big Calix. I was like, that's
great.
Awesome. I was like, that's awesome.
I love it.
So, no, I never knew that before. So, like, the other day, I'm literally wearing Big Calix t-shirt and be like, Big Killer Boy. I was like, yeah, that nails it. That's Big Calix right there. That's the elevator pitch for Big Calix.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Big Calix.
So we had Juan Francisco and Missile Assault Man defeated Rory Gulak and Solo Darling to get into the finals. We had
Solo Darling and got at in a singles match. Yeah.
Yes. So then we had a Chikara Grand Championship match. Dasher Hatfield, who was the interim champion after Mr. Touchdown got injured, defeated Sloan Caprice in a championship match.
I saw that dude on a show where he was not called Sloan Caprice, but I was like second row being like, Sloan Caprice! And he was like, yeah, Sloan Caprice. And then he like went back to cutting his promo. It was funny. Like he was like, "Oh yeah, you're that guy. You're the one guy who knows me from that one place." All right, cool. It was very funny.
He did this extremely weird like commercial that he was just randomly in, and I was like, I messaged him I replied to a comment on Twitter. I'm like, did I see you in this commercial for such and such? He's like, yeah, that was me.
You sure did. Yeah. This is Mike Verna, by the way, for anybody who keeping scores at home. Excellent dude from New York, Long Island-ish area. If not, please don't come hurt me. You're a very large man who will wrangle my neck very, very quickly. But very much into acting, commercials. I feel like he had a cream cheese commercial that was like very awesome.
That's possible,
at the time. Man Steel, Mike Verna, New York, New Jersey indie. Big Jack chiseled monster who could definitely be on television, teamed up with the cat like the Wardlow, and they could just like run through dudes.
Yes, former tag team partner of one Rex Lawless.
That's right. Pectoral Poseidon.
Yeah, that's such a great name.
Dude's a monster.
That's genius.
There's another monster on TV. I thoroughly enjoyed their act as the closers. Especially with the Big Deal, aka Dylan Postal, aka Swoggle, to be their manager, heavier, heater, whatever. Very funny.
And then to round out the card, Princess Kimberly and the Whisper defeat Juan and Missile Assault Men in the finals to win the whole thing.
Yes. Missile and Juan were in a crew for a while, right? Were they in a crew or not? I feel like for some sort of splintering or something. Maybe that was that Immortals thing.
Yeah, no, they weren't.
Not really.
They weren't together there. At that point, Juan was leading the United Nations. It was him.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Juan had a crew. Yeah, it was in Percussion Bar. Yeah,
and then the Missile Assault Man was actually in Battleborn with Kevin Condren.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was Condren, and it was
Condren and Missile and Snow Troll and Lucas Calhoun.
That's right, Big Lucas. Shout out Juke Joint.
I don't care what anybody says. People were not big fans of the Challenge of the Immortals. I thought that season was amazing.
It was very
cool. All about it.
It was very different. It was very cool to see them like do the the classic like mix up of matches. I remember that Anniversario that year was very cool. That was a very cool show. I remember that being being very good.
They did some really good stuff that season. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So
yeah, I enjoyed it as well, and it was fun. Like I think at one point there was a mistake made with one of the puzzles and the matches and the points and stuff, and one of the fans like figured it out. So like they announced the match. And somebody was like, "Oh, well, that doesn't make any sense because of like blah 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 blah," and then like the graphic disappeared, and then it reappeared a couple of days later, and you know that the office was like, grumble, grumble.
Yes, the office
was my fans so smart
of
my. I taught them so well that they're now finding my own mistakes. So
indeed,
but stuff was excellent, and you know, I wish we got to see more of that on a regular basis.
Yes, I agree. So I got two pictures for you here. First one is myself and Green Ant. There's the king dressed as Dude Love. Wow, I had the tights too that said Dude Love down the side.
That's great. And the tie-dye mandible claw makes it.
Yes, it had to be there.
That's excellent.
Yeah, and then here is my my tribute to the team of Hallow Wicked and Shaza McKenzie. Shaz Muldoon.
Shaz Muldoon. Yeah, there you go. Tremendous.
Yeah.
That's a great one. They would probably run that back somewhere. I'm sure Mikey Black Label Pro will run that back. Why not?
Oh yeah.
That'll happen.
Good times. Yeah, that was just so many great moments.
And it's right. It's I don't know. It is, but at the same time, it would never be what it. I don't know, like the people who saw it. Remember, people who because I came into it, you know, kind of late. I would say. I mean, I would say like my first show was King of Trios 2011. I started regularly going to shows in 2012. So the people who started watching it in like 2005, 6, 7, 8, you know what I mean? Like it sort of fell off, or like I missed the whole BDK angle. Like I watched that whole thing after the fact. So like the people who watched the BDK angle and like the people who lived the BDK angle of 2010 and then we're like, it's not the same anymore. You know what I mean? And we're sort of out on it by the Wrestle Factory era, or like never came back after the shutdown, you know? Like that was sort of their era, and they kind of looked down at the time that I thought it was great. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I still thought it was great because it was new to me, and it was. And you know, even after things changed and it wasn't the traveling thing and it was just show up to Wingate Street for the early one or the late one or both because we want to see everybody. You know, I really love that era. Like I miss that era more than anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, we just mentioned the Funplex and how great it was. It was great to go to shows there. But I mean, I also very much miss being able to just go to the factory, see a double header, and like have an awesome day, you know, enjoying the flavor of ice cream that I enjoy to watch in person. You know,
I didn't get into Chikara, honestly, which is kind of crazy, but I didn't get into Chikara until 2015. My first show was the baseball show at the Reading Phillies before King of Trios that year, because I had gotten tickets for King of Trios that year because I knew about Chikara. I'd always wanted to go to a King of Trios, and I just said, you know what, this is it. I'm doing it this year. And so they were at the Reading Phillies the month before. So I went and saw that show there, and then did King of Trios. And from there, I just was like every show, any show that was in Philly. I didn't travel, but like, you know, of course, then it got to the point where every show, like you said, you know, they stopped doing the touring, and so everything was in Philly. So, but yeah, I didn't really get into it till 2015. But I can tell you, when I got into it in 2015 and started regularly going, there were a number of people who were consistent regulars, and by the time things kind of, you know, as we got closer to when things wrapped up for good for them, there was not a single one of those regulars still there. Like it was, like I had now become a regular, and like the people I was going with had become regulars, but all the regulars that were there in the beginning were gone. Everybody just, got off board at one point. And I don't know why. I don't know what happened with that. I mean, Chikara was still hot. Chikara was,
sure.
The building was full for every show.
And there were, and they also mentioned how many students there were at the time. Like, the number. And I feel really I feel awful for like the students who really put in the time and did the work, and then ta-da, the company's closed, and now it's like, what are we doing? And then they have to
especially those guys at the end.
And then the pandemic happening and stuff like that. So like it literally robbed a lot from a lot of people, which is awful. But bright side, now is when we get a chance to support people like the Lost Boys, and we get to support, all of those folks. So that's what that stuff's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean checking in. Just want to note, if it wasn't for Chikara, none of us would have met. So kudos.
Happy birthday, brother! Thanks for hanging out.
Hey, happy birthday, Sean. Yeah. What Kenny said. Yeah. No, yeah, it's nice to be able to support people now. So we're in the process, and we haven't really talked about this yet or mentioned anything about this, but the Wrestle Factory is up and running in Copley, Pennsylvania. They are training a whole new batch of students.
Oh, Copley. I always call it Copley.
I do too. And it drives my wife insane because
I don't know. I'm just a kid from New Jersey.
She's from here, so like she knows that it's pronounced Copley, but I always say Copley just to
Copley
make her mad. Yeah, but it is Copley. Well, anyways, they have a facility in Copley, and they are they're training people. And one Oleg the Usurper is now a big trainer there.
Oh,
and so we have seen Oleg on a number of indie shows. Oleg and I've known Oleg for many years. And so every time we see each other, we have really good conversations and talk about the old days. But being a trainer at the Wrestle Factory, we're trying to figure out all the logistics and how we're going to make this work. But we're going to do an episode for Opinion City from the Wrestle Factory. We're gonna set up in the ring. We're gonna talk to Oleg. We're gonna talk to people training there. Kind of do the whole 9 yards. So we're kind of putting all the logistics together on that one.
Get a flavor of what's going on out there.
Yeah, because it's gonna be one of those things where we're gonna have to record it, and then it won't be live because there's no Wi-Fi at the Wrestle Factory, so it won't be live. But
gotcha.
Yeah, I think it could be really good. We're working on that. It's just the logistics of getting everybody together, and but they do run Sundays. They try to run student showcases. And it's one of those things where it's $10 to go see the student showcase, but you can't just go. Like you've got to be invited by somebody or know somebody there. Also, one of our good friends here at the show, Larry Peace, is with the Wrestle Factory now. He was doing referee classes. So yeah, kind of cool stuff.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So, and we had an interview yesterday with the One of One Chris White, and very, very interesting episode. He did his top 5 underrated theme songs, and I'll tell you what, by the time it was done, because I even said to him on the air, I'm like, you can tell some people bring top 5s and it's okay, great, but you could tell he knows his wrestling theme songs. He's pulling out deep cuts. He's going places you wouldn't normally think people would go when picking that kind of stuff. So I could tell that he was very, an
Took
expert.
Seriously, was real into it. Yeah, paying attention.
So he knows a lot about it. So that's another thing we're talking about doing an episode and we may, if we can get it set up in September, we'll probably do it for September. But we're talking about doing a Grappling with the Grooves episode with him all about wrestling theme songs.
Excellent.
So he's 100% in. But one of the other interesting things we talked about yesterday with him is that CZW is starting a new TV show called Breakout, and they're going to be running the Breakout shows in Quakertown, which is not terribly far from me, not terribly far from Philly. I can remember back in the day, we would go from we'd see a Chikara show in the afternoon, and then Excellence Pro Wrestling would run at a VFW in Quakertown that same night. So you would have a lot of guys from Chikara that would go over to Excellence and be a part of the Excellence shows there. So we used to go see Chikara and then go right over to Quakertown. I don't think that they're running in the same place that Excellence ran, which is good, because it is literally this VFW out in the woods, and there's no lights in the parking lot. So when the show is over, they warn you when you're going to your car, be careful, use a flashlight and be careful because there may be bears out there, and they were not kidding. It was literally out in the woods.
Was that same white building?
Yes.
Okay, because I feel like for some reason it was like, is Sellersville? Why is Sellersville ringing a bell?
I think Sellersville is the
official
I think Sellersville's
township,
the other. Yeah, it might be. Let me see here.
Sellersville, Quakertown. No, I remember catching an Excellence show at that building a time or two, because that was basically the one building they ran, right, for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm sure they probably hit up a couple ones, but that was like their regular spot. So yes, no, I definitely remember that being a very spooky building in the middle of the woods.
Yes, it is. That's yeah. So it was technically Sellersville. And this is funny. It's the VFW Forest Lodge Post.
Yes.
So
yes.
it was in the forest, and there was a big brown building in the front, and then in the back was the big white building where the wrestling was.
Too many cooks. Boo ba doo doo bop. Too many cooks. Those guys were great. Yeah, for sure bought a t-shirt off of the boar in that building for sure.
Yes, that was the boar was huge there. Yeah, there were a lot of Chikara guys over
from
there.
His manager Timsy was the spokesperson for the boar that evening. So definitely handed Timsy a crisp 20 for a Boar's War shirt.
Boar's War
from the I have a shirt. I think I've bought that shirt 3 different times from him. So good shirt.
Listen,
when you have a good shirt, you got a classic.
I had a Boar's War shirt, and then I had his SmackDown shirt as well. He did a SmackDown logo shirt.
The Warzone, yeah. That's the
Warzone.
only one that slipped through my fingers, because
I had both of those, and then
that's a great one.
I had a red bow tie to wear with the Boar's War and a blue bow tie to wear with the Warzone. There
you go.
I was the height of fashion, man.
Excellent.
Killing it.
That's the way it is, man. It's best. Yeah, it's great. It's very, very good times. Looking back positively on a lot of that stuff. You skip over the stuff you don't want to watch. You really enjoy the stuff you do. I mean, just Mania weekend, I'm being at the White Eagle Hall, seeing that incredible ladder match between Avery Good, FKA Dasher Hatfield, and Mr. Touchdown at the time was excellent.
That might be the best ladder match I've ever seen, because they did some things in that match that I have not seen in ladder matches before or since. I mean,
Absolutely.
they were very creative with the ladders, and that was when we had Avery on. God, I mean, let's see, Avery was a long time ago. Let's just say,
Sure.
but when we
Probably
when we
like
had
real
him on,
early on, like
he was actually before we went to yeah, we had him on episode 14, so it was before we actually transitioned to YouTube when it was just audio only. And that was one of the things we talked about was that match, because I mean that match was incredible. Definitely one to check out. But
for sure, absolutely. That whole show's excellent.
Yeah, great show. That the Mania Week stuff is always great. You rarely see a bad show there. All right, well, that's gonna do it for Monday Night Raw. They've gone off the air. Overall, a great show. Good stuff from beginning to end. Great crowd. Denver, Colorado was extremely hot, so that helps a lot. Again, Damien and Rhea at the end of the show getting some more another measure of revenge against the Judgment Day with the help of the main event, Jey Uso, who we do not sport on this show.
No Yeet.
No Yeet is correct. We want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. We want to thank everybody that commented, that sent in questions. We appreciate everything you guys do for us, checking us out, watching us, enjoying us, having a good time. Big shout out to Kenny P, newest member of the team.
Shout out to you, Ralph.
Hopping in and joining us for a little while tonight. Lots of fun.
I got done dirty by the Point Pleasant Beach public boardwalk folks who decided to do things later than they were supposed to.
Oh, of course. Well,
the sign says 8:30. It doesn't say 9:15. It says 8:30.
That's right. You tell them.
What bone is this?
Yeah. So while you're at it, make sure you're hitting that like, that subscribe, that share, so you don't miss anything. Let us know that you love what we're doing. Also, again, check out our Discord. Lots of fun things going on over there. So hop in the Discord and say hello and chat with us and have a good time. Don't forget, yes,
tap in.
Don't forget to check out yesterday's episode with as we talked about with One of One Chris White. Great episode. I'm sure you will thoroughly enjoy the heck out of that episode. So go check that out. We had a great time with Chris. A lot of fun. And then make sure you're here next week on Sunday. We have a special late night edition of Opinion City at 9 p.m. We'll be talking with the Cotton Candy Princess herself, Tiffany Avatar. All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Another Monday Night Raw in the books. For myself, for Kenny P, for everyone here at the OC. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.